Listen, I'm not the type of guy to get into a rant about a build up to the biggest pay per view. Thanks to this global pandemic, limitizing nearly everything, especially professional wrestling, something that's supposed to be continuously on the go, consistent. And these guys, this is literally their life. So what? They can't survive off the pandemic like we normally do, having our normal jobs. We could just stay home. These guys are literally on the road 24/7. Most of the guys are just staying home, and it's optional. Thank God, Vince, with him like risking his life nearly every other week. But the build-up for WWE WrestleMania 36 has been piss poor, and with the likability that there's going to be a 2-day event for a several-hour show, while most of the roster are either pulling out, not coming, or just overall fuck off. I'm not coming. I'm not gonna die to get squashed by Kurt Hawkins. It's not worth it. None of this is worth it for a pay-per-view that's already piss poor of a build, and for a 2-day event that doesn't even have two marquee matches that are like 2-day events. Wrestle Kingdom was 2-day event, and that was the start of the year when we only had a global pandemic. And the worst thing that's heart wrenching is, other than there's a global pandemic killing thousands of people, was Kobe Bryant passed that same month. And now here it is. Right now we are in WrestleMania 36, with the only marquee matchups being Goldberg and Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins versus Kevin Owens, Drew McIntyre versus Brock Lesnar, and two women facing off against NXT superstars because they don't have anybody else to get over, except for a forced attempt to try to get next gen superstars over. A multi women match for no damn reason, even though people have been wishing for Sasha Banks to turn babyface again, while she's been heel for quite a while since injury, since returning with the blue hair back in August, while Bayley turned heel come October when she won back the SmackDown Women's title. So kind of makes sense at that point. Plus, in the storytelling perspective, yeah, they have more history with each other than just randomly making this a multi-women feud with an awkward little Skype cam of Paige being like, "You'll face off against all these bitches that barely have any TV time." It is so cringe. It is so terrible. And they think it's likely that Shayna Baszler and Becky Lynch will main event the pay-per-view. Did you hear that? Likely? No one cares about Shayna Baszler. I watch the takeover shows. That's all I get. Other than that, she looks like a dude. She looks like fucking if Just Incredible had a transition it with a strong chin. The bitch has greased up hair and she ties it up. It is so dumb. And and sure, I like the way she wrestles, but what would you expect over a chance of jobbers? Any other female would go in there and they would know that they're winning against a person like Liv Morgan, Sarah Logan, Ruby Riott, Natalia, fucking Asuka that nearly are out of the bucket list, and most of the Riot Squad are out of Becky's league. And I already don't care about Becky main eventing another WrestleMania. There hasn't been a multi-day event for a WrestleMania since WrestleMania fucking 3. And they were in 3 different settings. This time we're in a fucking downgraded training center. Oh, but we'll make it different. It's still gonna feel like shit. It's gonna be a 7-hour event. You make this a spread out day where most people would rather be staying home, except noticing that they have another WrestleMania. And most of these matches are pulled off the blue. We didn't have any build up for Bayley's title defenses. No other women marked up to be like opponents for WrestleMania. Most of these were just coming back from injury. Naomi was coming back from injury. Lacey Evans just randomly turned face. Alexa Bliss never even had an opportunity to face off against fucking Bayley for the women's title. It was not fucking Nikki Cross, and she failed twice. What build up is that? Somehow Andrade and Angel Garza set up a tag team immediately because they're the top heels on Raw to face off against the Street Profits. Because somehow the OC and the Viking Raiders weren't wishing for a rematch? Whoops. or they just couldn't make it over to Raw because it's been like that for the past couple days. So many guys haven't even shown up. Fucking Corey Graves haven't shown up at all. Drew McIntyre hasn't shown up, obviously, to stay clean and obviously to stay healthy until Mania, but I can understand. But most of the build-up we've been getting with Drew McIntyre over the past couple weeks has just been this dumbass vignettes of I came so far. Everybody remembers 3 and D, 3 and B, right? 3 and B, right? 3 and B, yeah. Now I'm big now, and I have a. He does this discreet thing. Like, remember when you faced off against Roman Reigns after you had leukemia, that you disrespected Kurt Angle in a match? Like, all this heel shit, and like, nothing to build up except feeling like I just came from humble beginnings and I'm happy to be here. Like every other fucking babyface, after they turn heel, they lose. They just learn. They just lose all that personality and aggression and emotion that they have. And then you have Drew McIntyre. They're just happy to be here, and he'll just dish out a Claymore kick. So as soon as he wins the WWE title, hopefully they turn him heel. Hopefully, because I have no excitement or any ambition to watching WrestleMania other than Randy Orton and Edge. Because that's actually an established feud I've been developing since the Royal Rumble. So I'm not trying to rag on it. I want to be optimistic over these tough times we have right now. I really do. I really want to. I'm willing to. At any other video, I hope I do some happy stuff, and the only time I'm happy is when I'm going over the NFL offseason or any other stuff wrestling related. Primarily AEW that I did not go over the recent episode. I'll make sure I'll upload that before the airing of Dynamite, or I think they're postponing Blood and Guts for probably in the future. I don't know. There's already a lot of stuff. Like Impact Wrestling is postponing their pay-per-view Rebellion that was supposed to be, I think, next month or something. It's so much shit pushed back. And I can understand why. It's already, the thing is spreading. A lot of people staying home. That's good for them. Slow down the disease. Try to get this pandemic slowed down so we can get through our lives and actually live the rest of 2020 the way it should be. Happy and healthy and everybody outside and shit. Well, you whoop you fucking do. I just don't want to see this shit, this joke of a WrestleMania. It already loses its awe because there's been nothing to build except Edge and Orton. Cena just faces off against the Fiend for the Universal title because of some shit from 2014 when he lost to so many guys, and yet Cena was the biggest momentum point of all. So why in the fuck Rusev isn't feuding with him? Rusev hasn't been shown on TV since January. Fucking January, and he finished off a feud with goddamn Lashley. It wasn't even on the pay-per-view. They had Roman Reigns and Baron Corbin on the pay-per-view, but not a feud that's been itching up for the last 5 months. Like, I can understand at least why, like, a few, like, Roman Reigns is the top gun of company. Get it? He gets a pay-per-view match. You're telling me not a feud that's been brewing for 5 months doesn't even get one showing on pay-per-view? And one was a crappy tables match, and then they had a match later on Raw. Then Liv Morgan was in the mix because, like, she had a thing for Lana. And then all this crap, if they ended it at WrestleMania or something, I know people have been waiting for this feud to die, but at least it was a feud. It had time. We know Rusev and Lana. We established their relationship as being a happy couple and shit. And sure, it's a ripoff of what happened in 2015, but Jesus Christ, at least it was a feud. At least it had longevity. For as much as people hated it, it had, like, time. I established nothing with Shayna Baszler and fucking Becky Lynch except she bit her nape on Raw for some damn reason. So she can get a taste of what Shayna... No one wants to see that shit. No one. Shayna Baszler saying social distance and still training to toss Becky Lynch around at WrestleMania. Shut the fuck up. No one knows who you are, Shayna. I really don't even understand the strategy of why WWE is doing this. Charlotte, there's going to be 3 major women's matches, and somehow one of the feuds that are actually developing, like the the Riot Squad little civil war that they're having, because somehow they just end up being mortal enemies, even though all of them haven't been shown on TV. These bitches were on main event for majority of 2019 or something, or injured. You're telling me now, like, these guys went their separate ways for no damn reason except a bullshit ass promo from Ruby Riott one time on Raw, and now it's nothing. I feel nothing. As soon as WrestleMania 36 ends, it's nothing. I feel like some guys are pulling out. We don't even know what Braun Strowman is doing after the breakout and shit, and he's already not like, maybe I should like not though. And this is important for me because he won his first singles title in years, and he doesn't even get a rematch or some shit like that. So probably that will be in the near future when the pandemic's broken down and they actually have crowds and they have enough time to do whatever the fuck they can. But I know like as soon as summer starts, pandemic must have been blown off, like started like late middle of June and shit. Or May or something like that. I don't know. I don't care. I just want this to be over. This road to WrestleMania had no glitz and glamour and everything. I'm going to see AJ Styles try to struggle the shit out of trying to make this match watchable with The Undertaker. I don't want it to be fast paced. I don't want it to be 10 minutes. I just want it to be over. I don't want to see Undertaker at another WrestleMania. I just wanted a match that's actually supposed to be like legit next guy versus next guy and shit. And still I'm seeing the same crap and the part timers don't even feel kick ass. The only thing kick ass I'm gonna see is Brock Lesnar versus McIntyre because these guys can still go, and Orton versus Edge can still do some moves, and they actually pour history because these guys made a rated RKO, and these guys literally legit have history because they've been wrestling since late '90s to 2000s. So they even brewed up a story that's been showing legit TV time. And the best thing they could do is make Becky Lynch try to main event a Mania when she's been barely doing anything. Most of her shit that made her relevant was her and Seth Rollins while she was giving head to Seth Rollins while he was holding the Universal title. Oh God! Now this Friday we see if the Usos of the New Day face off against Miz and Morrison. Obviously, I feel like Heavy Machinery or something. I don't know what Heavy Machinery is going to be doing because Jesus Christ, I just don't care. I don't care. It feels like I should care because this is a feels like a better card than WrestleMania 35 in some assumption, except for it's a 2-day event. Why the fuck is the smartest thing to have a huge outbreak going, and the biggest thing you can do is make an event 2 days? What kind of business decision is that? Why not just make your shit 4 hours or 3 hours just to cut the time short, make the card short, get the matches that everybody wouldn't mind watching, and just scrap the shit for the next pay per view? No one gives a fuck about Bayley in a multi women match for the women's title. The SmackDown Women's title hasn't been relevant and ever, ever. Why is an NXT title being defended on WrestleMania? What is this supposed to gravitate from any of this? Except people are gonna forget this. Did we forget Asuka was the first Royal Rumble winner of this bitch ass little women's movement, and yet she loses first time she wins the Rumble against Charlotte at WrestleMania 33, 34. So that makes like any comeuppance of like women's wrestling completely out the window. WWE doesn't give a shit about women's wrestling. They don't. Stop thinking that way. This doesn't change shit. It doesn't change NXT's momentum because they're still showing us a developmental brand. They just get more popular indie guys to sign there. Fucking Killer Cross was part of Impact Wrestling. What's wrong with you people? What real optimism that you people actually have for WrestleMania 36? Because all I've been hearing for most of the time over the internet is shit because they don't care or think there's no need for a 2-day event for a pandemic that's affecting nearly everybody. If you want to, just shorten the event and make the matches a bit longer. Just for the safety of these niggas. No one cares about Rhea Ripley facing off against Charlotte Flair for the show. No one cares. They really don't, bro. It's like Carmella, Dana Brooke somehow is going to be a WrestleMania. Like, come on, man. You think I care? For some damn reason, I'm supposed to care of any of this. That is so depressing. And for most of the shit, I sat down on a lot of WrestleManias. I have very low expectations for WrestleMania 32 because I knew Roman Reigns was about to take the belt. But I cared about the rest of the card because I thought at least some stuff was going to be interesting. Especially with the Brock Lesnar and Dean Ambrose match that went to shit. But at least that had me anticipating something. We can anticipate that Brock might lose at Mania. We can anticipate that Edge might beat Orton. We can anticipate that Miz and Morrison still retain the tag team belts because there's no tag team division to care about, other than they might lose the belts in a few weeks on SmackDown. And all this shit Vince is doing for what bang for his buck, all because he's bleeding money from the XFL because of the pandemic and making them shut down operations. I can understand that for a business decision, and probably they have a 2-day event even though nobody's going to be coming to watch, and most of your network subscribers are just leaving because of your shit wrestling show, and you expect people to actually milk on this, to actually be a must-see event for most of the guys that actually want to stay the fuck home so they don't die after taking a bump, because they have more of a common because they have more of a way to die from a simple cough from a random stranger than a dead ass taking a bump 100 times in the wrestling ring. It's embarrassing. It truly is, and I wish I could be happy. I wish I could be happy about this, man. I really do, but I'm not. I'm really not. I wish stuff gets better. I want WrestleMania to be good. I always wish every year for WrestleMania to be good, but it hasn't been since WrestleMania 31 because it had a card that you were excited for. The match was going to be in a big ass stadium, and you cared about what could happen. And some of the stuff actually had your expectations pretty high, and it happened. Except Sting and Triple H, that shit was scuffed. And so was the rest of 2015 for Sting. That was fucked up. But the biggest thing they care about is Ronda Rousey coming back. At least that would be exciting, but I think they should do that like after Mania shit. Because, it hit a bit harder, and Ronda's practically the realest fighter in the company, and I just don't give a fuck. I'm just trying to think of any type of wrestling news to get everybody's blood pumping for something. Yeah, but that's technically the video. If you guys have more stuff to talk about, it just type in the comments below. I don't mind reading your comments. It's just my personal opinion. If you guys are still excited about what's gonna happen at Mania, just type it down below. I'll always read a comment. Don't mind it at all. It's coming from the DST show. Oh boy, hope Mania is as good as they think it's gonna be. That's it coming from me.
You like that? You like that?